Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. This is Aaron here. This is Times with the Narcissist Explained. Um, Thank you all for coming through, who have been with me since day one. You know, like I said before, I make this channel to talk to those who are different, who are considered star seeds, who are considered chosen. You know, I know how it feels to have the world against you. I know how it feels to have your back against the wall, even down to temptations, okay? This world that we live in today has fallen into very deep temptations. You know, for example, a thief is always tempted to steal. A hooker is always tempted to go and have multiple sex in a day. You know what I'm saying? A liar is always tempted to lie. You know, temptation is very strong, very prevalent today, and temptation really does target people who are chosen, because I know when you're different, people tempt you with all kinds of stuff. You know, like there was times where me personally, I had women wanting to have sex with me, but some on the inside just turned me off. You know, it was something about them that turned me off. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm glad I followed that gut feeling, because now that girl is somebody else's problem, not my problem. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, I know some women, they met with some guys they was tempted to have sex with, but you all didn't, because you probably found out this person had HIV, or this person had a lot of drama going on. You know, so when you overcome temptation, you're a very powerful being, okay? The topic I want to talk about today is managing emotions, okay? In this life, right, you're going to feel angry, you're going to feel upset, you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel disappointed. I mean, you're just going to feel a range of emotions. You're going to feel like you want to take revenge, you know, especially after what the narcissist did to you. You're going to feel so many things. But the one thing I cannot stand, people say, oh, just let it go. Letting it go is not easy. I'm going to tell y'all this firsthand. Letting it go is not easy. What I say is, feel the emotion, but don't act on it, okay? Sometimes you gotta blurt it, you know, blurt your anger out. Sometimes you gotta get by yourself, blurt your anger out, blurt out your frustration. You know, a lot of times I talk to myself. I do. That's the best way I know how to regulate my emotions, because I live in a world where people ain't gonna really understand me like that, especially where people who are like me, they're so far and few. You know, I'm running into damn energy vampires on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. You know, I understand what it's like, where everywhere you go, you getting attacked. And you have to find, like for example, you had a bad day at work, right? And you got to come home and process that. You know, some of y'all was driving home mad as hell, cursing at the air, because somebody at your job pissed you off. You ain't want to snap back at them, because you know if you snap back at them, they're gonna come against you. You know what I'm saying? You know, or same thing with family members. You know, your family member done provoked you and made you go supernova, and you tried not to put a hole in their face, so you just walked away. You was yelling at the top of your lungs by yourself. You know what I'm saying? These are ways to try to manage your emotions, because in this life, I'm telling you, there's no way around it. You can't just let it go. You have to process it some type of way. How I process it is by myself. You know, sometimes I curse in the air by myself. Sometimes, you know, I talk to myself to talk through the situation, and I feel better afterwards. You know, it's almost as if you have to be your own therapist. It's too expensive to deal with therapists, and then a lot of therapists nowadays don't really understand, especially if you're a chosen one, especially if you're like a star seed, a light worker, an empath, if that therapist is not an empath, that therapist ain't gonna really fully understand where you come from. So I can tell you, Starseed, Chosen One, you are alone. You are alone. You really are. And having to process that, a lot of times you have to process it by yourself. If you have somebody who you could process it with, but you got to be careful with some people who you processing your emotions through, because they may not be genuine. And a lot of people nowadays, they want to see you suffer. Listen, when you're a chosen one, when you're a starseed, when you're of the light, when you're connected to divine source, you're on a much higher level than the average person. Okay? That's why most of the world doesn't understand you. That's why most of the world, they want to feed on your suffering. Man, listen. When I was dealing with certain folks in the past, they were feeding on my suffering. They were feeding on my tears. Like, these were the type of people that'll provoke me to anger and to sadness and to rage. And they'll see me. It's like they were relentless towards me until they saw tears in my eyes. They would not stop until they saw tears in my eyes. And then when they saw tears coming out of my eyes, then they want to be like, oh, dang, man, I'm so sorry. They weren't sorry. They were trying to provoke it so they can feed on that. Because truth be told, when people see you in tears, when people see you angry, frustrated, upset, drained, that makes them feel better. That's the kind of world we live in. And it's fucked up. It really is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you manage that? You know, you want to know what makes you stronger than most people? Most people will take out their frustration, their anger, their bitterness and miserableness on other people. And that's what they mess up at. But see, chosen ones, empaths, don't do that. Empaths understand that, yes, I've been hurt. I've been through the gambit of a range of emotions dealing with society. But empaths know that we shouldn't take it out on other people. That's just not right. So a lot of times how I deal with it, I just, you know, I get to myself. I talk to myself. Sometimes you have to let it out. If you got to cry, you got to let that out by yourself. Because unfortunately, we live in a society that ultimately wants to feed on your suffering. They want to feed on it. You know what I'm saying? People are relentless when it comes down to chosen ones. People are relentless when it comes down. People are relentless and brutal when it comes down to people with good hearts. It's like they want to break us down so damn bad so they can feel better about themselves. And anytime they feel like they want to battle with you, no matter how small it is, they feel so empowered. Like, oh, yes, I love it. They may not show it to you right away, but they feel empowered by this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. When you're dealing with emotions, dealing with emotions for chosen ones is not easy at all. Because we live in a society that constantly wants to tear us down. They feed on our suffering. It's like the only time they stop is when tears come out your eyes. Is when you're upset and you're ready to swing at somebody. Then they want to be like, oh no, my bad, I'm sorry. But before then, if you're looking normal and cool, they'll keep poking at you. Listen, I ran into people in my past that would pick at me. And I knew for a fact that if I said something back, they were going to want to fight me because they're that weak. They're weak. They like to dish it out, but they can't take it, right? But they would pick at me. And then when it came time for me to speak my truth, and they saw that I was sad and tears was about to fly out my eyes, then they want to be like, "Dang man, what happened? You know, I thought everything was cool." That's not cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. I'm not here to change the world. I'm just here to let you know that as an empath, as a starseed, as a chosen one, as a person with a good heart, you live in a very evil society and they love to feed on your suffering. They're brutal and relentless when it comes down to you. When it comes down to us. I know how it feels. It sucks. It really does. Because you don't want to start any shit, but people want to start shit with you because if they can tear you down, they can feel better about themselves. These are the kind of people you're dealing with. Man, listen, man. I'm never in a place too long. I'm never at a job too long. Why? Because everywhere I go, I get attacked. I don't know, some of you all go through this. Everywhere you go, you get attacked. Everywhere you go. You can be at your auntie house. You can be at a job. You can be at a concert. Everywhere you go, somebody's watching you. Somebody wants to try to come at you, man. That's why nowadays it's important that you watch the company you keep and don't keep too many people around you, man. That's the problem with a lot of these celebrities. They keep an entourage around them. Them niggas will rob them, man. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas will rob them celebrities. But you know, so when you're going through frustration and dealing with these range of emotions, you know, process them. Feel. Don't let it go. Let it subside. Some emotions take 2-3 days, maybe even a week for it to subside, but you have to feel it. But in the meantime, stay away from people, talk to yourself, process it, you know, deal with it head on. Because I'm telling you, you can mess up if you don't process it. You know, sometimes you might slip up and say something mean to somebody who's probably there to help. So it's like you have to process that in a certain way, okay? That's the life of an empath. It's like we live in a society that's so evil that you have to process your emotions by yourself, because most people don't even understand you. You know what I'm saying? But I understand you, and I love you, and I want to see the best for you all right? And I don't know what's at the end of this tunnel, of this thing, this dark ages that we live in. There's a lot of evil shit going on, but just know that I'm here to talk. If anybody reach out for coaching, I do charge for coaching now. Be mindful of that. But we can always talk, and I'm always willing to listen. You know, so you know, I just want to say I love y'all. Y'all be safe. This is Times with Narcissist Explain, and tune in for more, y'all. Tune in for more.